Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. Today, we're in a bubbly mood as we try 3 brewery hard seltzers. Will they be a gas or will they fizzle out? Oh, that one was terrible. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're 2 beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. Terrible.
Oh, do you mean terrible or absolutely great?
No, I definitely mean terrible.
I don't know.
Could
It's the
also
best one
be
yet.
it could be the forefront for what we're drinking today.
I mean, I'm just saying, this is the first time I got this much of a reaction out of you when reading the intro.
Yeah, no, that one was bad.
I think that's finally it. I've done myself.
Yeah, I think you have.
Hard seltzers.
Hard seltzers, everybody. Here we go. We're doing this for you, so you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm starting off by just saying, like, I've done hard seltzers before. I've had them before. I've like to do a write-up situation about them. I think I made a blog post about them. Don't know if I ever posted it. I think I did. Literally, I hate hard seltzers. Like, I'm coming out at the start of this to say, like, I am not the target audience for hard seltzers. No. Really don't like hard seltzers. Have tried them numerous times. For me, they are too dry. Like, I don't like, do you know, they're just too dry and crisp that it's just like unenjoyable for me. I think that's what I don't like about them. And I've never understood the hype around them, never thought they were anything to write home about. And I actively, like, I struggle to find one that I would drink a whole can out of the ones that I've tried already. Yeah, how about you? What's your thoughts on hard seltzers?
I think I've had one before, and it's just like, I don't really drink fizzy drinks anyway, and I don't really drink cocktails that much anymore. So if I'm gonna have something that isn't beer, it's got to be like really delicious and exciting, and I just don't really like sparkling water. So why would I like a hard seltzer?
I don't like so I say I don't like sparkling water, but I'll caveat that with, like, what I do really like is the flavoured sparkling waters from Tesco. Like those. So normally I don't like sparkling water because, again, it's just too crisp, too dry. I don't like it.
Carbonic
it's too
bite.
Yeah, it's like too sharp in that way. Like, I'm just like, ugh, like, I just don't like it. But the sparkling ones from Tesco's, they have like the right level of like carbonation, but like fruitiness, and it's not too much. So I quite like those. But I just never really got like what the hype was with hard seltzers over like anything else. I mean, I like pumpkin, don't get me wrong, I'm basic, but like never understood that level of basic, I don't think. But today, the ones that we have today, I think we've agreed to kind of give them a try.
Give it a go.
Because if anything's going to change my mind, basically the first one we've got today is the Shipyard Pumpkinhead Hard Seltzer. So shout out to my sister for sending 2 across with my mum, and I thought, I just wanted to try it. I don't need to. I'll give you the other
spice,
one.
You know,
if anything's going to change my mind, is going to be the pumpkin spice.
Yeah, because you guys know how we feel about pumpkin spice.
Love it.
If you're new around here, hi. We love pumpkin spice.
We like pumpkin spice. We're spoopy bitches. We love it.
We sure are.
So that was that one. That one's new. Really acquired. And then we've got the new Hokkaido Pineapple craft hard seltzer. So new Hokkaido brewery. They are. I just love their artwork. Obviously, new Hokkaido. It's like definitely a Japanese reference, and pineapple is how you say like pineapple in Japanese. And I like the artwork on it. If you see it, if you're watching the video,
it's like a pumpkin man wearing a cap.
It's a pineapple man.
A
pineapple head. It looks like
That's what I meant. It's because the can's orange.
It's true. It looks like a version of one of the like demons that they've got over there. Like,
and he's got kind of like
a cat head thing.
He's got like a cat fur on. And like Maori type tattoos.
Yeah. So I think he's meant to be like a version of a yokai, which is like, yeah, it's a Japanese thing. But yes,
on the back of this one
pineapple hard seltzer.
It says, "Please keep cold or can may explode."
Oh, I did keep it cold.
I've kept mine cold.
Did keep it cold. But actually I ended up putting in an order like quite a while ago where I got one of the, or I ordered one. They didn't have some stuff, so they threw in like some extras of things, and I got a second one of these, and I was like, oh, you can have one and, you know, try it, see if you like it. And then yeah, it seemed like this third one, which was you got for us, which was from the Brewing Projekt. It's Bomb Blackberry and Raspberry Booming Hard Seltzer. And I think this is one of like this is meant to be more of a fruity hard seltzer, isn't it?
I think this is supposed to be a smoothie one, so we'll get into that shortly.
So yeah, that kind of was one that you got for both of us. And then when my sister sent over the pumpkin head one, I was like, that's 3 seltzers. If any of them are going to change my mind on seltzers, it's going to be one of these 3.
Yeah.
So we thought, let's give it a go. Never had anything other than a normal hard seltzer, like a normal fruity hard seltzer. Never had a smoothie one, not had a pineapple one, and definitely not had a pumpkin spice one. So if anything is going to change my mind, it's going to be one of the 3.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this.
Do you want to know a bit about hard seltzers before we start?
I don't really know much about hard seltzers. Go for it.
So, a hard seltzer is essentially carbonated water with alcohol and fruit flavorings. That's kind of the general gist of what one is. They can come by different names. I think hard seltzer is what most people are used to them being called now, but they may also have been previously called adult seltzer.
I've never heard that. I like that a lot.
Wait, it gets better. Mature seltzer.
That sounds like an elderly
seltzer. It's weird. Spiked seltzer or hard sparkling alcohol water. That doesn't really roll off the tongue though, does it? So
can you imagine going into a restaurant and you're like, can I please have one of your finest hard sparkling alcohol waters, please?
Yeah, no, it's just not.
Your mature seltzer, please.
Amazing. Anyway, so that's what Wikipedia says. The alcohol usually comes from fermented cane sugar, which produces a flavourless, clear liquid alcohol. Some brands are now substituting vodka or even wine in some places.
Oh,
which is interesting. The first widely available commercial example is thought to be Two Dogs, which was brewed in 1993 in Australia. So
setting the trends.
It's Australia's fault.
It's what's interesting is like I genuinely don't think of hard seltzers as being an Australian thing. Like when I think of hard seltzer, I think of American.
Yeah,
and I don't know why it's like. What I don't understand is why is it such a thing in the US so exclusively?
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
The beverage took the US by storm and rose in popularity between 2018 and 2019. Dave Colt of the Sun King Brewery in Indianapolis told Wine Enthusiast magazine, "There are so many variables that need to be considered to make the ingredients taste like nothing before adding in flavors and creating something that people are willing to drink."
To be fair, I feel like tasting like nothing is like, from my experience of hard seltzer, it's like somehow they managed to take a product that is so carbonated that it manages to suck all the flavor out.
Yeah, that's literally what they do.
Still have some level of flavor that is still unenjoyable.
So it is thought that one of the reasons that hard seltzers are so popular is because of their low calorie and carb content. So already looking at the pumpkin head one, right on the front, it's only got 2 grams of sugar, 110 calories, and 2 grams of carbs in it. So these, like this kind of branding doesn't really fly in the UK, but marketing of hard seltzers in the US really ran with that. And they have marketed these at people who want to have a healthier lifestyle but still drink alcohol. So they put that information very prominently on the cans. So on this one, for those that aren't watching the video, there is a big bar at the bottom that has those stats right front and center for people to read. They generally come in at around 5% alcohol as well, which people concession on them, I suppose. But usually the makers produce a stronger batch at around 10% and then liquor it back with distilled water to achieve the desired alcohol levels, which interestingly is what big beer like Budweiser do with their beer to get it consistent every time. So, you know, these craft ones might be a bit better, but
I mean, I would actually
there.
argue the point about when you're saying this branding wouldn't fly in the US with having that.
No, in the UK.
In the UK with that plaster across the front, it actually does. When I did these before, when I did the comparison of supermarket ones before, one of the things that I noticed was, you're right, in that they don't do this, if you're watching the video, that bar across the bottom that has like, here's how many calories and how many carbs and all that. But my interpretation of how they did handle it was that they did try to make it come across as much of a healthy alternative as they could. So you have don't really want to name them, but one company that does that has branched off into, they are a brewery that has decided to branch off into distilling as well, and is widely available in your Tesco and other supermarkets. And I won't name the brewery, but I will say there's Clean and Press, which is their hard seltzer offering. You can go and look that up and figure out exactly who I'm talking about. But across that, it's like the way that they've done the branding, or at least how they used to do the branding, it very much to me looked like it was trying to be marketed as like a healthier alternative to canned cocktails. And on the back of it would be like lower, it would, instead of highlighting the calorie counts, it's not just them, it's like a lot of, when I did this probably earlier in this year, maybe it was, don't remember, end of last year, it wasn't so much about the carb count and the calories, but it was like, look how low the sugar is, and pointing out those elements of like what was a better option. So it was really interesting, because that was actually one of the first things that I noticed when I was like looking at all the different labels. Like one of them would be like, oh, look at how low in sugar it is, and the other one would have a branding design that was meant to, my interpretation, elicit a healthier lifestyle choice, and not just in the US. But yeah, they can't plaster that across the front, but they can do everything they can to make it seem like it's a healthier, cleaner, neater option for you. And it's just interesting that is almost kind of universal, with like hard seltzers are being thought of as like the healthier alternative.
Well, that's what the marketing, like literally in my research, that is how they've pushed it in the US, and that is how it has taken off so well, is because people are drinking it because they think it's healthier.
It's just, yeah, it's funny that's like the you have cocktails in a can, right? And those get marketed as more like fun, good time party, look, cocktail in a can. They're not like, oh, here's a healthier option. And sometimes the ABV is not really drastically different from the cocktails in the cans to the hard seltzers. Those are like fun party time, but seltzers are like, oh, if you want to be more responsible and you want to be healthier and you want to be more conscious about your health, like have a hard seltzer. And I think that's just like, it's just really interesting how, like, I don't know where that side of things like originated, why like cocktail in a can gets fun party and hard seltzer gets like, oh, you can still have fun but be sensible. Like I wonder where
a cocktail,
that
like a cocktail isn't considered healthy, is it?
No, but
they're the fun thing. So that is what they've discovered, is that if they go hard on that this is healthy, because people are more health conscious now, and they're like, oh well, I'm going to stop drinking because that's going to help my health. But marketers are going to go, well, we still want them to drink because we want them to buy these products, so we're going to, this one is healthier because of XYZ. So that's how they've gone for it.
it's just, I just think it's an interesting concept overall with that. But yeah, no, that's interesting that you said that. Like, I wonder if there is just more of that. Why it's so much more popular in the US is more of that, like, I don't know, Hollywood-esque, like, oh, you have to look at how many calories, look at your saving. You're right, like over here you can't
100%
plaster this many calories.
I've got more on that later, but we'll
Okay.
save that for later on about the UK and its thoughts on hard seltzers. Otherwise you're going to get all the fun facts up front.
I don't want all the fun facts.
No, exactly. So you need to stop so that we can save some. Right, let's crack open this pumpkin head before I get into how hard seltzers are made. I always expect these to come out with a bit of colour in them.
They never do. They're as colourless as their flavours are. I don't like the smell of it. I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't smell pumpkin spice.
Like there's spice.
It smells a bit sweet. It almost smells like vanilla. But like weird vanilla.
Mine smells a bit like savoury.
I don't feel like mine smells like a almost like a baked good, but like a sweet baked good.
Yeah. Right,
a little bit of like cream cheese frosting is what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm getting.
I guess a little bit sweet, a little bit savoury.
It's definitely cinnamon.
I'm scared to drink
nutmeg.
it.
Okay, right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Never has something had less flavour, but also had flavour.
I mean, it's all right. Like, if I had to drink it was all that there was to drink, I could drink it.
So what I'll say is I could drink all of this can in the sense of I didn't take a sip and go like immediately no.
Right.
Like done. I don't like it. I'm sorry, Shipyard, because I like your Pumpkinhead beer. It's like they've sucked all the flavour out, but they've left specks of cinnamon. It's like someone gave me a slightly flat sparkling water and put some cinnamon in it.
Yeah, and put a bit of nutmeg. There you go.
Like they've mixed in a bit of pumpkin spice, but somehow it still looks clear as hell. What I will say, what I'll commend it on is it's not an overwhelming dryness. Like it's not too carbonated where it's like so dry and carbonated that it makes you go like it's not that aggressive.
I think if you like hard seltzers and you like pumpkin spice, you'd probably like this.
I wouldn't even say if you like pumpkin spice. I think flat out if you like cinnamon and nutmeg in particular.
Okay.
Because I don't know that like it's not the fullness.
I just remember what it smells
flavor.
like.
What?
It smells like raw Richmond sausages. That's not appetizing. I told you it reminded me of something savoury.
I don't think I could tell you what that smells like, but now I feel really turned off to it.
No.
Ugh. Yeah. I don't know. It's not, I think I agree. I think if you're a person that's at least even just like open to the idea, I don't think it's as full as like full like pumpkin spice things.
No.
But and if you don't like cinnamon, it's definitely not for you.
That's definitely not for you.
If you like a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg and you like a normal seltzer, because actually I almost think that the thing is this doesn't taste 5% even. I think it tastes even lower than 5%.
Yeah.
So I think if you like not even hard seltzers, you just like a normal seltzer, / sparkling fizzy water, and you like cinnamon nutmeg, you'd probably like this. You'd find it easy drinking.
Yeah. See, not a fan of fizzy water. It smells like sausages.
Can you cleanse my palate or something?
Do you want to know how hard seltzer is made?
Yeah, go for it.
There's a very good infographic on Wine Enthusiast, so I'll put the link to that in the show notes. But step 1 is fermentation, and they mix sugar into hot water and allow it to dissolve. Then they cool it and add yeast. To keep the yeast thriving, different nutrients need to be added to the mix. So a very neutral yeast is used. So whereas, with our beers, there's, really interesting things that you can get from yeast. Hard seltzer makers don't want any of that at all. They want it as clean and flavorless as they can possibly get it. So it is literally just sugar and water. The problem with that is the yeast has no nutrients in it. When we use grain in brewing, there's other nutrients in that barley, wheat, whatever grains we're using that allow the yeast to grow and create all the alcohol that's wanted. In sugar water, there isn't. So extra nutrients have to be added for that to happen. Next, it has to be scrubbed. So it can be cane sugar. It could be honey. I feel like if you're trying to get like a really flavorless alcohol, though, you don't want to use honey because that's going to pick up flavors and things. But when this is created after the fermentation, you get a sounds delicious, this. You get a either vaguely yellow or partly cloudy liquid. And of course, they don't want that.
This.
Right? They don't want that.
Horrific.
So Hopper Seeley, who is president of Grind City Brewing, says you can ferment a seltzer in 2 to 5 days, but it tastes horrible and it smells like sulfur. Just all these brewers just saying horrible things about hard seltzers.
You just want it to be the least flavour.
Right.
And you can do it quicker, but it's hot garbage.
Right. So, but when this comes out, so this horrible tasting, smells like sulfur liquid, they then have to scrub it. So it could be done in a centrifuge, kind of like a whirlpool in brewing. It could go through plate filters or it could go through charcoal filters to scrub it so they get a clear liquid. Interestingly, if it goes through charcoal filters, the seltzer comes out black. Then they have to scrub it again to clean the liquid and make it clear. But it does get rid of unwanted flavors and aromas. So they scrub it and make it all nice and clear. And then if this is a brewery that's made it to up to 10%, it will then be cut back with water to achieve the desired ABV, which is usually around 5%. Then they've got to add flavors. Most of these seltzers have got like natural flavorings added to them. Fruit juice can also be added, which actually brings us quite nicely into our next one, because the pineapple one has pineapple juice added to it. So let's crack that, shall we?
It'll be interesting to see if this is a different colour.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if that's like, because the other one it's a little bit hazy, but it's basically clear.
Yeah, this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, I had looked sort of in the background, and the Clean & Press hard seltzer did have across the front of it 90 calories.
Well, I've got a couple of other ones here. So I've got a White Claw, which I'll talk about in a moment. That's got 95 calories and gluten-free, written quite small on the bottom. And I've got a delightful Bud Light one.
I've actually had the Bud Light ones. I think I actually found that the Bud Light one, was the most drinkable out of all the ones that I had personally. Until I had one that was, so basically I didn't just try them for fun. Yeah. I do this box that every so often they send you marketing material, like marketing stuff for you to try out and give your feedback on. And I got a Bud Light in one and a Bud Light seltzer in one. And I was like, oh, this isn't too bad actually. But then I got a Topo Chico hard seltzer. That was the most drinkable one that I've had to date.
We'll get to that shortly as well. So this is yellow.
It is yellow. Doesn't smell like farts and sulfur though.
No, it smells like pineapple juice.
It smells like pineapple juice.
It does smell like pineapple juice. And I can see, like, on my glass, I can see, like, pineapple pulp.
Oh, yeah, you can.
I'm going to try it.
It's pineapple and coriander.
That's right.
It's very, it tastes more like a sour.
Yeah.
Than it does a hard seltzer. To me, it's very tart. It's that tart element of like a pineapple.
Yeah, it's a
It
bit
tastes very
sherbety.
fresh. Yeah, but it does taste like fresh pineapple juice out, as opposed to when you buy pineapple juice and it's a little bit sweeter because there's a little bit more sugar in it. It tastes more like if you had a pineapple and you drank the juice at the bottom of the pineapple.
That was right. Like, I probably wouldn't go and like be like, oh, I'm going to buy some of this. But if it was available, I might be, and it was a choice, I might be like, might have that.
I think for me, it lands quite close. I like it better. And I think because, again, it doesn't have that harsh level of carbonation. It's just the right amount. Like, you don't really notice it that much. For me, it has that familiar level of carbonation that a beer would have, as opposed to over the top sparkling water. For me though, like, I think it sort of lands in a similar area as Cloudwater sodas.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But I enjoy the Cloudwater soda more. And I think that's because there is a little bit more sweetness there. I think the thing is, I like a sour, and I like the tartness to it. It makes it a little bit different and more interesting when I'm comparing it to other seltzers. But if I was comparing this to a Cloudwater soda or something like that, like I just think I would rather have something like that, which is alcohol. I mean, that's alcohol free, but is in a similar vein, I think, flavor wise, because I've had the pineapple one. They've done a pineapple one, I think, or something similar that has similar flavors. And I really enjoyed that. And I'd almost rather have that as an option, no alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
Have the hard seltzer with the alcohol. This is a 8% alcohol, which doesn't taste like 8% alcohol. That's quite interesting.
No, it doesn't. And that's really high for a seltzer.
Yeah. I'll give them credit though. Like, I think it's interesting. It's a very interesting seltzer. It's not like any other seltzer I've had before or even seen.
Like, if you weren't sure about hard seltzers, then this might be a nice one to try to kind of get you into it. Don't think that they're all going to be like this though.
I think you have to like at least a little bit sour.
Oh yeah.
I think if you don't like sours or you don't like tart flavors, I don't think you're going to enjoy this one.
So you were talking about the carbonation of a seltzer. They are force carbonated and then canned or kegged. So producers work hard to ensure the liquid is carbonated at a high rate. So they want it to be really fizzy. This adds to the overall refreshment and enhances the flavors, apparently. Don't know whether our experience backs that up, but the carbonation in hard seltzers is often much higher than beer. So this is a reason that you will often find them in bars in cans rather than on tap, because to put it through a draft system would be quite difficult, and you would have to have a special tap put in to have a hard seltzer on tap. So I suppose if a brewery is specifically making hard seltzers, then they would invest in that. But otherwise, you're probably going to find them in can more than on keg.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I don't know, even like if you're a brewer that does, I don't even know that many brewer, because I think the way it works in the US as well is it's not like, it can be difficult shipping between places as well. So it's not even that you're like, oh, cool, here's like, you know, this brewery that's in Indiana, and then you have like Shipyard in Maine, and like how easy is it to get between the two? So like investing in a line, even for yourself, unless you're really pumping out them with regularity and you know you're going to continue to do that and future proof it, I imagine that's probably not a cheap investment to make.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so. So there are some popular flavors to the hard seltzers. Citrus flavors of lemon, lime, grapefruit, and tangerine are often seen. Stone fruit flavors of apricot and black cherry. And tropical pineapple, mango, and passion fruit are often seen. Also, you can get some like iced tea ones I've seen as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Iced tea flavors.
Yeah. So I found that Alex Meyer, who is head brewer at Upslope Brewery in Boulder, Colorado, said that when you dive into how the fermentation of hard seltzers works, they are actually a lot closer to a wine than beer.
I could believe that.
That was interesting. Yeah. And do you want to hear about smoothie seltzers, or do you want to hear the top brands for hard seltzer in the US first?
Let's go top brands first.
Okay.
And then.
Yeah. So, top brands according to Vinepair in the US are.
Can I guess the number one?
You can.
White Claw.
No.
What?
I know. I was shocked as well. Right.
What?
So the top brands in the US: Topo Chico, as you said. You said that one was really good. High Noon, White Claw, Bon and Viv, and Truly.
I knew that White Claw
doesn't even
had
get a
to
look
be top 5, like 100%. Bud Light, I think, is relatively, in terms of the hard seltzer game, I think it is a relatively newer hard seltzer. Because I think when I got a can of it earlier this year, that was like a newer release for the UK.
Okay.
Obviously, it had probably been out in the US longer. But I don't think, and I could be wrong, if you're in the US and you're like, I've had that for years, let me know. But I think like White Claw was one of the longest running ones. Corona does one as well.
Oh yeah, I think
I
think you're right. Do you want to hear, while we're on the subject of White Claw, which is thought of as the proper basic hard seltzer line, do you want to hear the top 17 flavors tasted and ranked by Vinepair?
Yeah, but can we slow that up? 17,
right? 17, the top 17.
I'm doing air quotes. Flavors,
right? Are you ready for this?
Seltzer. Yeah, okay.
Are you ready? Right, so these are all White Claw, and this was put together by Vinepair. Have I got a date on this? No. So right, top flavors. Gonna start at the bottom. 17, mango.
Okay.
16, raspberry. Got a raspberry one here.
All right, that's fine. That makes sense. Checks out.
Raspberry. 15, Surge, blood orange.
Oh, that's weird. What's that?
Surge is their higher ABV line.
Okay.
And so they came in at 8% as opposed to
4.5. Your new Hokkaido pineapple.
Surge. Yeah. 14, natural lime. As opposed to unnatural lime.
Like, we've got natural lime and then we have artificial as 5th lime.
13, watermelon.
Okay, I'll fuck with watermelon.
12, black cherry. 11, strawberry. 10, surge cranberry. Get that in. We're a bit late for.
How do they pick which ones are going to be I wonder if there's a method to like, this one's going to be a surge one because it needs that extra oomph to it.
Maybe, yeah. We're a bit late for Thanksgiving, unfortunately. Can't get your cranberry surge in. 9, iced tea peach.
I like peach iced tea, but
yeah, got tea notes and that add complexity. But it's too sweet, apparently. That's why it's only at 9. 8, lemon. 7, blackberry. 6, ruby grapefruit. 5, iced tea lemon. 4, tangerine. 3, iced tea raspberry. Vinepair loves the iced tea.
I love the iced tea, isn't it?
2, pineapple. And number 1, the top White Claw flavour, according to Vinepair, iced tea mango.
Woo, you did it.
There you go.
You guys did it, White Claw. Not only did you take a flavour, iced tea mango, that doesn't really exist. But you made it to number 1 of your
not even iced tea
top
peach.
17 flavors. I don't think like iced tea lemon or iced tea peach. I will even allow iced tea raspberry. Iced tea mango.
Iced tea mango.
I don't think I've ever seen a mango iced tea.
Apparently it's the best tasting White Claw that you can get in the US.
Why? What's the rationale? Do they give you a reasoning behind that?
No.
Because you're like, the other one's too sweet. This one, they're just like,
they give you the few notes. Right, shall I read the notes on it then? Right, so they say, this expression over-delivers on its promise of mango and iced tea, and the combination is a hit from the get-go. With dazzling aromas that draw you in, the flavours combine seamlessly on the palate. This is a thoroughly enjoyable hard seltzer with concentration, depth, and the perfect level of sweetness. Oh, this was published in April 21, the 21st of April, 2021.
Oh, so it might have changed by now.
Might be, there might be iced tea peach and iced tea raspberry.
Do you think like there's a market out there for me to be like, I'm gonna rate my top 17 hard seltzers as a person that fucking hates hard seltzer? Like,
that means you got to drink 17.
Like,
that means you got to drink 17 hard seltzers.
There's a market for my unabashed like. This one
shit.
has the least amount of flavor I've ever had in my life. This one has too much flavor. Pull it back.
Too many flavors.
I love flavors. I don't think I would ever say too many flavors, but like, oh yeah, interesting. That was a good one. I liked that. That was a fun segment.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
17, but I didn't even know there was more than like fucking 3 or 4 flavors. That means there has to be at least 17 as well, like all in one go. Because like, how can someone rate them if they're not drinking them? So it's not even they're like, oh, this is a limited edition release that came out like 2 years back. Like, you know, they had to have had all of them.
17 available, right?
Oh my goodness. Interesting. That's fun. And by the way, this is I say this all in good fun and good spirit, because I know that I'm not the target audience for these, and I'm not trying to suggest other people shouldn't try them themselves or give them a go, or that anyone should shit on hard seltzers or people that like hard seltzers.
No, you do you. Like, if you like hard seltzers, go for it.
I just thought that
this would, me though.
I just thought this would be fun to try the hard seltzers to see if nothing else is going to make me like hard seltzers. One of these will. So far, I haven't hated any of them in the like, let me just chuck it in the bin immediately and not finish it, like I definitely have with other ones. But like almost the new Hokkaido one is almost like a little bit too much, that I feel like it would give me a stomach ache if I drank the whole can. But I think that's just me and my taste buds, and like I think other people that enjoy
and it's a full like it's a 16,
it's a big boy can
as well.
When you compare it
to the usually the
little thin boys.
The hard seltzers are little cans,
little dinky ones. And this is like a full 40 ml one.
Right,
I like the colour in it. It's interesting.
It's good. Right, let's see how this bomb.
I'm scared it's going to explode.
I'm slightly scared as well. So like,
I don't even have that many
viewers.
A few napkins.
Viewers, if we cut, it's because the bomb exploded.
I'm gonna open the bomb over here because I'm a bit scared. Right. Okay, same time it.
Ready? 1,
2, 3. Oh, it's fine. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. It's a little bit fizzy bubbly, but we're good.
I can smell it.
It smells good.
Yeah. Right, so this is a smoothie hard seltzer. And whereas they usually use flavorings or fruit juice, the smoothie hard seltzers actually use fruit puree, much like a smoothie sour. So this is supposed to produce a thicker, creamier beverage. I mean, it still
smells like a snake bite.
The smell is amazing.
But I say that as a person that has drank a lot of snake bites and appreciates a good snake bite.
I get what you mean. Yeah, because it's the blackberry and raspberry.
I'm gonna drink it.
You can try.
It looks a bit. It doesn't look as thick as I thought it was. Maybe this one isn't a smoothie one. I thought it was.
I thought it was.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a normal.
Should we have rolled it? Did we not roll it? We should have rolled it. Oh, well, let's try this and see what happens.
It doesn't say to roll it anywhere.
But I'm going to try it anyway.
I'm going to try it. But it does say a hard seltzer from the Brewing Projekt. It doesn't say anywhere smoothie on it.
Oh, mate.
I feel like my teeth are falling out.
Yeah, this is so sweet.
I don't actually. The thing is, this is like maybe
concentrated squash.
Yeah.
Like not unconcentrated, like concentrated squash. Like you haven't diluted the squash,
but like with a little bit more like sugar to it. Like it's almost mouth coating. It's like having like you melted a Jolly Rancher.
Yes.
I'm not even mad about it though.
Listeners, I encourage you to go watch the video because my face was a picture when I drank.
It was a real sight to be hold.
Oh, I think that needs to be the short.
It's
I mean, I think
cavities
it's
now for sure, but
It's thicker than the other ones.
It's
It's
sweeter.
not as fizzy.
It's not as fizzy. It's higher fruity content.
Right. Every time I take a sip, my face just goes, what is going on?
I actually don't hate it, other than the fact that I think it's just a bit.
Your teeth are going to fall out.
Yeah, like I feel like I need to immediately brush my teeth when I'm done. And I've only had like 2 or 3 sips of this.
Yeah.
It tastes good, but it makes my mouth feel dirty.
My mouth feels like it's just coated in sugar.
Like a sheen of sugar.
Yeah.
It might, to be fair, the taste itself may be my favourite hard seltzer.
Yeah, of the ones we tried.
I think of all the hard seltzers I've
ever had,
potentially my favourite, because it's the least seltzery.
Yeah.
But again, like the pineapple, I can only have so much of this because I feel like this is a stomach ache and a cavity waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But it's very low in terms of like the carbonation levels. Very interesting, very different to most. Even so, I have even had like, you know, blackberry and black cherry and those type of flavors of hard seltzer before. Like I said, when I was trying a bunch of different ones just to see, I had those flavors, and it has that similar element, but the high level of carbonation just feels like it wipes out some of those flavors.
Yeah.
Where this is just like you said, it's concentrated squash. It's like undiluted
squash is what I wanted to say. Undiluted squash is what it is.
It's probably worth translating for Americans or anyone else that's listening that's not British. So when we say squash, we don't mean like the gourd. We mean there's like a liquid.
It's like liquid Kool-Aid.
Sort of. The closest thing to it would be like in the US, my parents just came over. My dad had these little Mio things that he like squirts into water, and it adds flavor to the water. So it's kind of like that, but on a thicker, you get bigger jars of it and they're thicker. And what you do is you like pour a little bit in, especially if it's like the concentrated one, do a little bit and then you top it up with water, and it comes out like, depending on, you've got orange, you've got summer fruits, you've got, I don't know, there's a lemon one, blackcurrant, yeah. And this ends up looking a little bit darker than what it would look like there, but not by much. Just if you didn't put enough water in it. If you put too much squash and not enough water, it would look like this. And probably taste like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, interesting.
So an article published on the 29th of November by Vinepair
on my birthday
said that hard seltzers have not done very well in the UK. We know this. We know this to be a fact. They think it's because, and I'm boiling down this quite long article into a few sentences for you.
Okay.
They think it's because the flavours don't really appeal to UK drinkers. They don't pack in that well. I mean, I feel like this one that we've just drunk blows this statement out of the water. But generally, hard seltzers don't pack enough of a punch of flavour for them. I mean, if they had the pumpkin head one,
this is literally Guy Fieri level. This is Flavour Town.
Flavours. Like, this is not one that is readily available in the UK. We got this from Brew Export, so it's a US one. The ones that are available in supermarkets do not pack enough of a punch for UK drinkers.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, UK drinkers also don't really understand the term hard seltzer. Like, they don't really know what they're getting, because we don't, like, we call it sparkling water. We don't call it seltzer, or we call it tonic water.
We need to call it the sparkling, the alcoholic.
That's probably where alcoholic. This is where hard, like, we don't use the term hard. Like, you know, you've got like hard cider. Like, cider's just alcoholic over here. Like, it's apple juice if it's not hard.
It's like, cloudy. It's cloudy. It's the closest thing to US cider is cloudy apple juice.
Yeah. So,
and that's like, not even spot on.
So we don't use the term hard. So it's like, what does that mean? Like, why is the seltzer hard? That's weird. And they found from research that drinkers just prefer ready to drink cocktails. They've tried the whole, it's 95 calories. A Gordon's and tonic, already in a can, is very similar in its you know, if you get a slimline tonic one, it's very similar to that in calories, and people probably prefer the flavor of it. So they're not doing very well over here because of those things. And they're not allowed to put as much and as heavily the health benefits on the cans and things over here because of our food regulations. So they can't rely on that, and they're not allowed to say that, you know, an alcoholic beverage has health benefits over here in the UK. So they're suffering for that, but also I just don't like them. I think British people generally, I'm painting with a very wide brush here, don't really like sparkling water.
I know, I would agree, but I also think like we don't have, like over here you don't really have tonic water, seltzer water. You have, I guess you have tonic water, you don't have like, so like we like in the US you've got like soda water, seltzer, or seltzer. Really, and so like my mum, we went out to a restaurant somewhere, and she ordered she asked for like, she's like, do you have any soda water? And they were like,
no.
And we were like, I was like, tonic water, and they were like, yes. And I was like, that's the closest you're gonna get, so just take it.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right, I don't think there's that same thing. But what I've noticed, just as my, you know, third party opinion on it from like my personal experience, I've noticed the whole cocktail in a can thing feels like, at least historically, and it's obviously, they said painting with a broad brush, it might have changed in both spaces, but it feels like cocktail in a can, party fun time,
right, drink that on the train,
tinnies that does better over here, and like people don't care as much about the health benefits, because it's like, I feel like people here, they kind of think, if I'm being good, I'll have spirits because that's lower calories anyways than a beer or something like that. But if I want to be good, then I go teetotal. Like there's no,
exactly. And like
in the US it's a compromising thing.
If we don't really know what a hard seltzer is, like no one know, like people don't really understand what it's made from, so they're like, oh well, I don't know why it's like, it might not be low in calorie, it might not be low in carbs, blah blah blah, because they don't know what it is.
But I would say the reverse is, like in the US, cocktail in a can feels like it doesn't have that same popularity as hard seltzer does. It's just, it's an interesting dynamic how there are those like differences, and I imagine it's probably more like a deep-rooted cultural thing more than anything else. And I think you're right, even if people understood what a seltzer was and a hard seltzer was, I just don't think that taste buds over here care for that as much as those in the US do. I don't know. It's just it is, it's just interesting. And I think even though we're not allowed to plaster it across cans, it is interesting how many people still try to do the like, it's 96 calories, or like let's call ours something that is the same name as a type of workout, because like that to me, that's what I was saying earlier, like that to me elicits like you're trying to arouse you're trying to conjure up a thought of like being healthier and being like active, and you know, oh, it's a better, healthier, it's for active people, healthy people, by giving it a name that's like that. And then putting, you know, however many calories, and on the back having it say something like, oh, it's low in sugars compared to other things. And it's funny that still over here we're like, nah, I'll just
no,
if I want to be healthy, I'll have a gin and tonic.
It's true story. Do you want to, on the flip side of that, do you want to hear the top 5 states that love hard seltzer the most?
Really scared, because I feel like I've got fear in me, but go on then.
Right, number 5, Connecticut.
It checks out.
They are between 12 and 13% of consumers like a hard seltzer.
That checks out. I think there's a lot of like never mind. Ignore that. Checks out. That's all you need to know.
For Virginia, same, between 12 and 13%. 3. Oh, see if you can guess 3.
I don't want to guess 3.
Oh, go on, guess 3. I don't know. I don't think you'll be able to.
Is it somewhere random?
Yeah.
Mississippi.
No, Kansas.
That is so random.
Right? Really random. They are in the 14 to 15% of consumers like a hard seltzer.
I should have said Delaware because like that would have been the most random.
Really random. 2, New Jersey.
Also checks out.
14 to 15%. Do you want to guess number 1?
No.
It's not yours.
Okay.
If that makes you feel
good. New Hampshire.
No.
Maine.
I mean, you're in the right area. You're on the right side, at least.
Vermont.
No.
New York.
Yes. Number 1 place
I knew it was
that
somewhere.
loves hard seltzers is New York.
Yeah.
14 to 15%. There is a lovely map.
Oh,
that I will also link
so
to.
dark. It's so dark.
Some areas are kind of interestingly, like California is only in the 10 to 11%, but Texas 12 to 13%.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Right, there you go. Those are all of my fun facts about hard seltzers.
I like that little heat map you got going on.
Yeah, that's from
I
Vinepair
both love and loathe it.
Yeah. That was in April 2020 though, so it might change.
To be fair, I do think there's like, when you think for me, when I think hard seltzers, I associate it with like summer, barbecues.
Yeah, we're definitely not in
the
right
tailgating,
in the right
people playing
season.
The cornhole, the beanbag tossy game. I don't like. I could say cornhole, but people over here will probably be like, "What? It's beanbag tossy game."
I know what cornhole is.
You know, but
I did have to explain.
People.
I did have to, we have a cornhole set at work now, because we got one for one of our events.
Because it's been taken. I feel like it has been taking like
they're elite
the UK
over here because I bought it
storm.
I bought it from like people who make regulation size.
Expensive.
Yeah, they are expensive. And we
had
ours branded
get one for our garden for a bit of fun. Before the craze, before I knew that the craze had taken off.
And they're massive.
Yeah.
And heavy.
I was gonna just make one.
Yeah. But yeah, I had to teach people how to do it, and I actually had to look at the rules because I don't know. I'm like, chuck it through the hole.
Oh yeah, I don't really know the rules. I'm like, you just take your beanbag, you toss your beanbag.
I had to Google it.
You get some points, maybe you don't get points. I don't know. It depends on which what type of thing. Some have like multiple holes in it. Some just have the one hole.
Regulation ones for like proper tournaments.
Fun fact.
Have one hole. Fun fact.
It's interesting because I never really saw it over here that all of a sudden, like, I don't know, I think like last summer or maybe last year, it was like every tap room and event started getting them. And I was like, I've been trying to get this for ages and it's been a pain in the balls to get. I was going to make my own and it was expensive. And then I was like, why don't I just buy one? And it's like, oh, you could pay a lot of money. And 9 times out of 10, you had to, when I was looking originally like a few years ago, you had to like ship them from outside the country. And I was like,
they'll make them in this country now. For that. Norfolk Boards is the company that I got ours from.
Well, there you go, people.
They do regulation league size, and they'll customize it for you as well. They're not cheap though.
Put someone's face on it. It'd be hilarious. That's what I think of when I think of hard seltzers. I kind of think of like the stereotype of like a bro, but equally someone being super basic. That's like what I think of when I think of hard seltzers.
Yeah.
In the US,
people own your basic.
Own your basic. It's not a judgment. I'm basic.
It's not
as
a
hell.
judgment.
I get excited the first day pumpkin spice lattes come out. Like,
she really does.
It's my favorite time of year. So
not when pumpkin spice hard seltzers come out though.
I wanted to try it.
Like sausages.
I was right on it. Like, can you please get us some? I really want to try it. And
Bud Light did a pumpkin spice one as well at one point.
In the US.
In the US, yeah. When I was looking at my research.
That would have been interesting. Well, what's your favorite one out of all of them?
Probably the pumpkin one, if I had to.
If I had to, gun to my head, I had to pick pumpkin spice.
I'm not a hard seltzer convert, so
this is a hard one for me because I feel like
I like the flavors.
I want to like the pumpkin spice because of the cinnamon.
Much.
I want to like the pumpkin head because of the cinnamon, but I just don't. It just doesn't work for me. I want to like new Hokkaidos because I really like knew Hokkaido's artwork, and I've had other beers from them that are really good, but it was just a little bit too much. I feel like it was going to give me just a stomach ache if I had too much of it, because it's almost like it wasn't balanced in a way that I like, but that's because it's hard seltzer and I've got a beer mindset on it, because I don't like hard seltzer, but I liked it more than I like most hard seltzers. And then the bomb one, probably my top, but again, so sweet. I could only have a little. It's like when you have mead, you have like fruited mead, and like mead can be really good, but they only serve it in small quantities. And it's like, if I were to have the bomb in the size serving you get of like mead, great.
What's the ABV on this one? It's only 6%.
Yeah, it tastes mostly sugar, to be fair. I would say that none of them really taste their ABV.
No.
So there's that, I guess. Easier drinking in that sense, harder in other ways. Would have to agree, not a convert myself, but I'm glad I tried these, because I'm a big fan of, just because you don't like something at the moment doesn't mean you're not going to find a variety of that thing that you like. So you kind of need to keep trying if you find something that's interesting and different to what you've had before, and give it a go. And then if you don't like it, then you don't like it. But that's my 2p on it. I don't regret trying them, but certainly not a convert.
No. Right. Tori, if people want to speak to you about your pumpkin spice addiction, where can they talk to you?
Oh, I can talk about that for days. And I have. Yeah, you can come talk to me about that on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism, or on Gmail at adventuresinoptimism@gmail.com. Or you can email the podcast at awomansbrewpodcast@gmail.com. And a segue over to Jo, where you can talk to her about said things, said topics, about what she likes or doesn't like in a hard seltzer. You can send us a message on A Woman's Brew on Instagram, which Jo may very well pick up. Where else can they get you, Jo?
If you want to get a hold of me, you want to make sure you get a hold of me, then I would come over to my beer school, which is Love Beer Learning, and we are on Facebook, Instagram. I'm currently still on Twitter, TikTok and Pinterest. I also have a website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. And you can email me at lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. And don't forget that I am on YouTube as Love Beer Learning, and we are on YouTube as A Woman's Brew Podcast. So come check us out over there. On that note, I think we're done with the hard seltzers.
Indeed.
Cheers.